this right here, so this is a depth gauge for this, so you can see that's about right for that. So it just sits on there, and if that's sticking up, there might be a little bit it needs to do. This is a different style of depth gauge. This is a Husqvarna brand one. It's got labels for hardwood and softwood, and basically it sits on there, and sorry, goes that way. So you set it up against the back of that tooth, and it tells you how much you need to file off. One thing on the depth gauge is too, you can file it off flat. That was one reason why I got this one, is because it actually helps you with the angle on the front end of that tooth or that gauge. Because this one, if you just do this, you're just filing it off flat, and that's fine for a little while. But once you get it below a certain level and it's just flat on there, it's not really a problem if you're just bucking or limbing, because these teeth are flat, and so that's actually, the gauge did what it was supposed to do. But once you get out here on the tip, if you're trying to bore cut or anything like that, and that front depth gauge is flat, then it's actually pushing out enough that it won't let the tooth bite in. So you want to do what they were saying on the video. You got to make sure and hit the front of that depth gauge too. So you want it to keep that. You want to keep that rounded characteristic of this depth gauge up here at the front. So some people call them rakers, but you want to keep that rounded edge. If not, it could cause a problem when if you do go to start felling trees. Like if you move on further from just the bucking and limbing, you can bore cut when you're bucking as well, but it'll cause an issue with that. So if your saw cut's fine, like just bucking and limbing, and then you go to make a bore cut and it's just throwing powder, that's very possibly wise, because the front part of that depth gauge is not rounded. It's basically a bulge out there keeping it from digging in.